Hey everyone, it is Zakhele, and this week we are talking about limited government. Firstly, let's start. What is the government, right? The government is an institution that has a monopoly on the use of force. But most importantly, for classical liberals like myself, we believe that the government should only exist to protect my life, my liberty, and my property. So, as you know, the theme of today's discussion, I want you to ask yourself if the government is doing anything other than protecting your life or your liberty or your property. Then in most cases they're not, what they're doing is unjust, right? And expensive. I think we should mention that because the government exists thanks to us, right? So the government as an institution is funded by taxes, and taxes principally exist prior to them being taxes because they are just the wealth that is generated by individuals all in society. And this is why limited government is important, right? Just from a cost-saving mechanisms. The bigger the government is, in most cases than not, it means that you are charged a whole lot of taxes. And if you are charged a whole lot of taxes, well, you have less disposable income left to yourself. And I doubt that anyone would be in favor of that. So, and in South Africa, I think we should be most acutely aware of this, right? Since I think we've probably passed the Laffer curve, because I don't think any increase in taxes will result in an increase in revenue, right? So we understand the cost of huge government. We understand the cost of having, what are called SRD grants, right? The 350 grants. To understand the cost of having high unemployment whilst having, millions dependent on those who are employed parting with their taxes. And this is the main thrust of why, people like myself and my organization are in favor of a limited government, primarily because it will just, immediately lead to you having more money in your bank account if you're employed, in most cases than not. But most importantly, as I mentioned earlier, government exists to protect your life, your liberty, and your property. And as such, beyond the cost of the government, right? If the government incurs a whole lot of costs, but it is in the scope, for instance, of a war, right? So a war in a government a war that is fought by a government is, in most cases, than not, if it's defensive, right, in protection of your life as a citizen, your liberty as the citizen of that jurisdiction, and also your property, right, from being confiscated by whomever party the government is engaged in warfare with. So the costs incurred in warfare would be costs that are well in line with the protection of these principles. Therefore, those costs will be acceptable because they have, the effect of, if the government wins that war, protecting these liberties that you already enjoyed. But if we contrast that to the cost I mentioned earlier, right, the cost of, for instance, funding the unemployed through 350 grants. There is an argument that one could say that, if people have even a little bit of income, then they stave off of crime, and this has the effects of, protecting your life, your liberty, and your property. But I believe that requires us to leave a whole lot to fate without any evidence to show that this would be the case, right? In South Africa, we have one of the best social protection programs in the continent of Africa at the very least, yet we have also one of the highest violent crime rates in the continent of Africa. So, the evidence that this cost that is incurred by the state through welfare spending, as an example, will lead to the protection of these principles the case is not as clear as it would be, for instance, in a context of warfare. So this is why, limited government is important. Most importantly, it just saves you money, but, more philosophically, for those who are inclined to that, it is meant to, protect the things that are given to you by whichever creator you subscribe to, these inalienable rights that you enjoy irrespective of the actions of any other human being. And the government should exist as an institution that is developed by, a society or a particular civilization. The government should exist to enhance those inalienable rights, those qualities that make us human, instead of diminish them. So please do tell us what you think in the comments as always. Do you agree that government should be limited, right? Or do you think it should be as big as possible with scopes that are as large as can possibly be? Do let us know. Don't forget to give the video a like, and as always, stay free.